Attorney Michael Avenatti, who filed that motion for Stormy Daniels, joins us once again at the table. First on CBS This Morning. So, Michael, let's discuss. I've heard this motion described as brilliant, brazen, and frankly, crazy. So what exactly are you looking for here? Well,
the motion is not crazy. I mean, we're relying on U.S. Supreme Court precedent and a whole long line of cases in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. It is well-founded. It was well thought out. It's incredibly documented.
What do you want?
What we want is we want the truth. I mean, we want to know the truth about what the president knew, when he knew it, and what he did about it. As it relates to this agreement, we're going to test the veracity or the truthfulness of Mr. Cohen's, his attorney's, statements. And we're confident, Gayle, that when we get to the bottom of this, we're going to prove to the American people that they have been told a bucket of lies.
The motion references a meeting on March 21st. What happened at that meeting?
We had a what's called a meet and confer, where both sides confer about impending motions. We raised this motion with the other side, and I think one of the things that was significant during that meeting was we asked Mr. Harder, Mr. Trump's attorney, whether Mr. Trump was a party to this agreement, and we heard crickets. They don't know. He said they don't know yet whether Mr. Trump was a party to this agreement. How do you not know whether you're a party to an agreement unless you're just trying to make it up as you go along?
You're essentially arguing this is bigger than Stormy Daniels now, that this essentially agreement was an effort to influence the 2016 election. What would the judge need to be convinced of in order to grant your request in order to have a deposition of the president?
We don't think it's a big stretch. The other side is attempting to force this case into a private arbitration hidden from the public, where the public doesn't learn what really happened. In order for the judge to determine that, we are arguing that under the law, we're entitled to the deposition. Quite honestly, there was a mistake by the other side in pushing this case into federal court, and now we're going to bring it to bear.
You heard Paula Reed make reference to the statement from the spokesman for Michael Cohen, who called this a reckless use of the legal system, but went on to say, in order to continue to inflate Michael Avenatti's deflated ego and keep himself relevant. This is a politically motivated, and people see through this charade.
Mr. Schwartz is a hack straight out of Central Casting. Next question.
If the president agrees to a deposition only, but it were under seal, would you agree to that?
We would fight that. I can't imagine that the public would sit for that. But, I mean, obviously, if the judge ultimately decided that, we would adhere to it.
You mentioned Clinton versus Paula Jones in your motion. Why is that relevant?
Well, it's the Supreme Court precedent. The Supreme Court already decided that a sitting president could be deposed in connection with a civil matter. And if that was the law then, it certainly is the law now. It hasn't been overturned.
If they came to you with a settlement in this case, would you accept it?
Well, I think we would consider it. I would converse with my client. It would depend on the terms of the settlement. But, I mean, at this point, I don't see how the case gets resolved short of the truth coming out and the whole truth for the American people.
Yeah, you called Mr. Schwartz a hack and then moved on. But I also think, you know, a lot of people, Michael, are saying that you're a hack, too, that this is all politically motivated. What do you say about that? That this is really nothing more to attempt to embarrass the President of the United States?
It's just simply not true. I'm not involved in politics. I'm representing my client. The President and Mr. Cohen are the ones that have spread half-truths and falsities about my client. My client wants the American people to know the truth and nothing but the truth.
And quickly, when do you expect to hear from the judge?
We have a hearing set on April 30th, and both sides will argue the motion at that time, and the court will either render a decision then or shortly thereafter.
Did you have any trepidation about filing this to depose the President of the United States? Did you have any trepidation whatsoever?
None, because it's well supported by the law, and we're confident in the motion.
Michael Avenatti, thank you for joining us first. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.